here in front of me called Our Skin that has been endorsed by NACI. And I'm going to read exactly what this book says. You guys might find it interesting. A long time ago, way before you were born, a group of white people made up an idea called race. They sorted people by skin color and said that white people were better, smarter, prettier, and they deserved more than everybody else. This would be taught if we socialize our pre-K system. This would be taught.
Do you disagree with that findings in the book?
1,000%. How about we teach Jesus loves me? How about this? In teaching Jesus loves the little children, the lyrics go, red and yellow, black and white, they're all precious in our sight. Now, which one would you think would be better? I'll ask everybody on the panel, which is better to teach? This, that is a story that was made up to teach our kids, 3-year-olds who have no idea what race is, now all of a sudden is being taught that white people said this as a truth. Someone point at me that this being a truth, that white people developed race, that white people developed that all of a sudden that was our word that we developed. By the way, I'm Cherokee, Native American. I think we have experienced a little bit of racism before in my life, Chairman.
Senator Mullen.
So I ask everybody on the panel, which one is better to teach? This or the Jesus Loves Me lyrics? Ma'am, I'll start down here. Just tell me which one. I don't have time for an explanation.
What I'll tell you, Senator Mullen, is that what children in these early years develop their identity.
The question.
It's
the question is which
it's important
one
that our classrooms are.
I'm just asking which one is better.
Let her answer the question, please.
My question is this.
She will
which
answer
one is
if
better?
she sees fit.
Which one is better?
It's important that children's identity and language and culture are recognized.
That's not answering my question.
And that's what creates strong executive function.
If you don't want to answer my question, that's fine. Let's move on down the panel. Which one is exactly? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
Misspoke. So what I'm saying is which one is which? Which one is better to be taught, Mr. Chairman? Is it this, or is it the Jesus?
Is your question directed to me or Ms. Woman?
Well, you keep interrupting me, saying they're not answering the question, and I wish you'd really stay out of my questions.
It's his question. He gets to dictate it.
Which one?
Not dictated. Ask the question.
Which one?
Talking to Ms. Woman, right?
Yes.
As I stated, Jesus is always first.
Absolutely.
I am so sick and tired of this chip that you're carrying on your shoulder. We have bent over backwards. We have done backflips to make you feel equal. And yet, we've done everything. Perfect example is in the federal government. If you and I get the exact same rating for a position, do you know what? You get it. And do you know why? Because you're black. Is that fair? Is that fair to me?
There is a woeful lack of understanding, not only in the black community, but really in the white community, of why black people are in the condition that we're in and why all of the efforts that whites have made and government has made to try to solve the problem in the way that government sees fit has not really worked. And blacks are still crying out for more and more and more. And I realize that this is an irritant to white people because you really don't understand. And it's not really your fault. It's not really your fault. You just don't understand. But I think if you gave yourself a chance to hear what happened to these black people that makes them as they are as an irritant to you and those who think you have done the best you could. And maybe you have, but I respectfully suggest to you that there's so much more that could be done, that should be done, and that must be done if America is to survive. Believe me.
No black person can be a racist. It is impossible in theory and practice for a black person to be a racist in America. And quit letting people call you a racist because you speak up for your own people. Where do you have enough power and wealth and resources to tell white folk who they can marry, where they can live, and what businesses they can own and control? No black person can do that. This is what Dr. Answer, we got with Malcolm X and Farrakhan, what they're racist. No, they weren't racist. Any black person that speaks out in behalf of his own people is not a racist. He is reacting to white racism. All a black person can do is to react to white racism. He cannot be a racist. That's why I get very concerned. I hear people talking about, well, Dr. Answer, we got reverse racism. How you get reverse? Well, he's talking bad about us. He's supposed to. He's reacting to what you're doing to him. You've been beating a man to death and talking about, well, he doesn't want me to beat him anymore. He's a real racist. Well, it's a reverse discrimination. You cannot have reverse discrimination unless you got forward discrimination. If I pull a car into a garage and park the car on your foot, and while the car is in forward gear, and I start screaming in pain, say, get it off my foot. They said, well, Dr. Esser, for me to put it in reverse and back it up, that's reverse backup, but that's reverse discrimination. Or it's best for us to leave it where it is on your foot. It's stupid stuff. But black folk go along with it, you see? Hell, if it's on your foot, you get it off. I don't care what you call it, but my people are scared. I might as well let it stay on there, child. It'll be okay. God will make a way.
I think black people are way more racist towards white people.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to this new channel. I'm your host, Leslie J. Kindly, if you haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe, like, and also comment. So, in today's video, guys, I want you guys to just continue watching this correlation video whereby really the white supremacy is falling. I normally say that racism is expensive, and that's why now the system that were just built by the white supremacy is turning against them. And the black people, they have been warning them that this system must be broken to have the equality, because this system of oppression, this system of the inequality towards the other minority groups in America, it's now turning against them. So I want you guys to just continue watching these videos until the end, then I come back with more comment. And don't forget to support this channel by drilling subscribe, like, and also comment. Don't also forget to give this video a thumbs up. All full credit goes to the creators of this video. I'm your host, Leslie J.
System has to collapse, then it has to collapse. And unfortunately, I know that that means my comfort level will be changing. I know that. I'm not looking forward to that, nor do I think I will survive any kind of major apocalypse. Let's be real, as soon as the air conditioning goes, I might go as well. But it has to collapse, because if the system doesn't collapse, when our president has his name 1 million times in files that prove that billionaires have been extorting and bribing each other and buying their way into governments around the world, then we don't actually have a system anyways. It's all based on a giant lie, which is something that believers in faith are okay with, but I am not. I want to know that my comfort level isn't because a child is being trafficked. I do. I want to know in my soul that my money is not going to pay for billionaires to bribe each other into doing what they want. I don't believe in billionaires, and this is exactly why. This is why none of us want billionaires, because when you get that much money, you begin to think that you can do anything. And these people have done everything while they've been telling you to be mad at the poor, be mad at the migrants, be mad at the immigrants, be mad at black people, be mad at Asians, be mad at China, be mad at everyone, but just don't be mad at us when it's them the entire time. It's not you, MAGA, it's not Republicans, it's not Democrats. It has always been the uber rich. Since long ago, kings, lords, ladies, like serfs, these were things that we are acting like aren't real still, and they are. And we have allowed the top to get away with it for too long. They are at the point where they feel so entitled, that is the entitled group, that they believe they should have access to children and they should just be able to do it. So you know what? Burn it down. It all has to go. And unfortunately, I know that means my life is about to change. But if it changes and saves some flippin' kids, so be it.
Quickest that the way that we live is normal.
Okay, I'm gonna say this because it's true, but I'm not saying it because I'm racist. I'm talking about with my sister-in-law how white people do not move over for you. I go to a PWI. I have stopped moving over for white people. I have bumped into so many white people. They take up the whole sidewalk. They walk in groups. when you're sitting down and you have like your leg crossed, they want you to move their leg. I have this girl in my comparative government class. I sit down with my leg crossed and she just stands there. And I'm like, I literally stopped moving for her. I stopped moving for her because you can't say excuse me. You can't form those words out of your mouth. You have no home training, none at all, and it pisses me off. But anyways, that's my rant for today. Have a lovely day, guys.
There are some things that you can truly never fully understand until you leave the United States. I moved out of the United States 2.5 years ago, and since then there have been moments where certain things happen that completely and utterly break everything that I've ever known. And today, one of those things happened. I'm currently living in Germany, and very recently I just got a part-time barista job. It's completely a part-time thing and just something for me to make some extra cash on the side. And I literally cannot even work more than 20 hours a week per my resident permit. And I haven't even started working yet, but there are some things about this job that have already broken me in a good way. As I'm in talks with the boss trying to get this job, I'm expecting like, okay, we'll do like an interview or something and they can see if they like me or not. And the boss emails me about like, they don't do like an interview, they do like a tryout day, and they're telling me like, come in for the tryout day and see if you like it and if you fit in with the environment well. And when I went in for the tryout day and like all went really well and stuff, the boss asked me at the end, so like if you feel good about this job, like if you like it, if it suits you well and you think you might want to stay here, then just like write me an email and let me know by like Tuesday or whatever. And they're not saying anything about like whether they even like me or not. Like all the focus seems to be on whether like I like the job and I want to stay there. Like I ended up having to ask like, well, do you like me? Like my German isn't so good, so like is it okay or is it like a problem? Like how do you feel like I fit in with the environment? And only then did I hear from the boss like that, yeah, they liked me too. And then as we're going through the hiring process, like the first thing that they tell me is like, okay, the paperwork should be ready to sign in like 2 weeks. First things first, I need a little bit of information from you. And the first thing she asked me was, when do you want to take your vacation days this year? Literally the first thing that they asked me. Guess how many vacation days I get for a part-time 20-hour-a-week barista job? I am allotted 36 vacation days, or 6 weeks in a 6-day work week schedule. 6 weeks. The thing that broke me today was an email from my boss telling me that not only is it possible for me to go on the public healthcare system, but it's literally required for me to. For context, this has never been possible for me before, and since I turned 25 and moved outside of the United States, I've only been able to have essentially travel insurance. And now through the German public healthcare system, I can pay into it and then see pretty much any doctor that I want to, as long as they have an available appointment for free or pretty much free. And the amount that you pay into it is like 100 euros a month. I haven't been to a dentist in like 10 years, and I know that partially that's definitely my fault, but I literally through like the public health insurance, it's like required for you to go like twice a year. I was like kind of freaking out when I first got the email, and I was like texting my German friends so that they could like help me understand better, and because like I translated it, but I was like, I don't want this to be like a false translation or something and me get my hopes up for no reason. And they were like, congratulations, like, but I was like really overwhelmed by it, and they were like, I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, yeah, of course, anyone in Germany who makes more than like 600 euros a month, they automatically can go on the public health insurance. And they're asking me like, what, you didn't know that? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, why would I have even expected that or thought to research something like that? We don't even have a public healthcare system like this. And a 20-hour-a-week barista gig would never give you social safety nets from. Why would I have ever thought to look something like that up? I'm used to a part-time job giving you nothing. I'm used to public healthcare not even really existing. I'm used to things being impossibly expensive. I'm used to things being intentionally made to be as difficult as possible to deter people from obtaining them. I'm used to things being unforgiving and uncaring and unhuman. Like, I can't believe how easy it was for me to obtain the essential care that every human being needs and deserves just by serving a little bit of coffee. Like, of course you can read and research about other countries, like, as much as possible, but there's some things that you don't fully understand until you leave the United States. I'm so angry and full of grief that our government and our society and media and whoever else has convinced us that the way that we live is normal.
Donald Trump's not the problem. MAGA's not the problem. ICE isn't even the problem. They're all symptoms. I mean, ICE is a imminent problem. They're an invading force in multiple cities and states, and they are literally a weaponized version of the Klan that is state-sponsored and has endless amount of money for some reason. But even if all three of those went away today, we would still have the problem. And the problem is this. White people, people who look like you and me, we've allowed white supremacy to flourish in this country for generations and generations and generations, so long that people don't even recognize it, myself included sometimes, right? I had a moment just last weekend, or just earlier this week in New Orleans, where I was speaking with a guy on a trolley who grew up there. And he's like, well, you're from the South, right? I grew up in North Carolina. That is the South. You might want to fight me on that. It's not the deep South. He said, you know why everyone's so polite here? And I was like, I don't. And he was like, well, we had to be. He was like, everyone had to be polite to each other, especially black people to white people, because if we didn't address them properly, we would get killed. I make U.S. history content. And I didn't even think about that. I grew up in the South, and I didn't even think about that. That's how normalized every day white supremacy is in our country. And if the white people in this country don't decide that they're going to extricate the cancer that is white supremacy from themselves, from their homes, from their communities, from everything that they are surrounded with, we will be right back in this position 5 years from now, 10 years from now, however long it takes for the cycle to regenerate, because it will happen. Trump's not the problem, MAGA's not the problem, ICE isn't the problem, it's white supremacy. It's been white supremacy, it will be white supremacy, it's always been that, and if we don't work towards it to fix it now, then when? Oh, and by the way, if you're a white person watching this, guarantee you, when we get rid of white supremacy and the systemic white supremacy that kills people every day, every single one of us will be healthier, we'll all be wealthier, we'll have better access to food, we could even have walkable cities. We could have walkable cities, but that's white supremacy. In action, right? The way we've designed our cities is white supremacy in action. So just think about where you want this country to be in 5 or 10 years. Think about how loud you want to be. You will lose people. That's okay. We'll have each other. Let's go for it.
I just want white people to have a place to live. Like, there's no... The country's going to be minority white, and then a lot of people hate white people. Like, white people aren't, like, violent to that degree.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. Have you ever heard of postcard lynchings?
What?
Postcard lynchings.
No.
So, all the way up into the 1960s, when black people got lynched, many people would take photos of those lynchings, and what they would do is they would put them on postcards and knickknacks, and people would spread them around. I won't show this on camera, but here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is called the dogwood tree.
Open the border right now.
These were knickknacks. So, if you want to say white people weren't violent, can I read you the poem on the bottom of this postcard?
No, I know about slavery.
This isn't about... No. This isn't slavery. No, 1908. This is 1908.
They turned us into salts and lamps.
This is from 1908. This is long past slavery.
I know.
This is the only branch of a dogwood tree, the emblem of white supremacy, a lesson taught in the pioneer school, that this is the land of the white man's rule. The red man once in an early day was told by the whites to mend his way. I can't say the word, the N-word, now, by eternal grace, must learn to stay in the N-word's place. In the sunny South, the land of the free, let the white supreme forever be. Let this be a warning to all N-words be, or they'll suffer the fate of the dogwood tree. And in it there is 5 black men hung. This is from 1910, and this actually is one of the most common ones. It circulated until 1960 and was sold in the South. So, yes, white people are violent too.
Well, we certainly can be.
The American Order of Operations for Oppression has always been black people, immigrants, gays and theys, and then women and white people. it's gotten to the white people part. And I just want to remind you guys that remember when Black Lives Matter was just popping off and we were like, oh my God, stop killing us. And everybody was like, it's not about black people, it's about everyone because all lives matter. And it really was about everybody because all lives actually do matter. But because you guys really didn't want black lives to matter, it ended up now in 2026 that no lives are mattering, not women, not children, not black people, not immigrants. And even though we're watching it with our own eyes live and in action happen to you, you guys still have not caught on. You were worried about black people getting revenge for all the heinous things that happened here in America, but it's gonna be your government. They're gonna do exactly to you what they've done to everybody else because that's always been the plan. There's not enough immigrants and gay people and people that you hate to sustain Americans' greed, and they're gonna need you to get on the ship. You have to go into the field. And just from being a black, I want you to know that our ancestors had to kill and die for the little bit of freedoms that we got. And
of reminders, it might not be quick, but a reminder that if you are a white person, you are just now realizing that the government and the elites are not supportive of you. So you're starting to get really angry. You're starting to get really upset. You're starting to say, this isn't fair. And I want to remind you that black people have been telling you motherfuckers for the longest time to get the fuck prepared. And what did you guys do? Sold out for whiteness. You sold out for white supremacy. So I just want to remind you during this holiday season that buying, consuming, gifts, all of that stupid going out and all that shit, you are supporting this system continuing. So the first thing that I want you to do when you think this isn't fair, we should have a revolution, let's drop our insurance. Whatever. I want you to remember that black people have told you from the fucking beginning that you need to be prepared, that you need to start reading up, that you need to start removing your trust from the government, from these elites, from the billionaire class. So rather than being an asshole and telling you that you guys are pieces of shit, I'm telling you that you need to get in the fucking ring. So start now.
Why are there so many Chinese food restaurants in black neighborhoods? It's due to a very special type of seasoning called
racism. It's what's for dinner.
Back in 1882, the U.S. passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, banning most Chinese immigrants from entering the country. But because the government loves money, it left a loophole. If you were a laborer, no entry. But if you owned a business, you could qualify as a merchant, which meant you could stay and you could bring your family over. Then in 1915, a court ruled that owning a restaurant counted as a business. And just like that, opening a Chinese restaurant became a one-way ticket into America. Then came a new problem in the 1960s. Basically, banks were racist as fudge. If Chinese folks wanted to open up restaurants in white neighborhoods, the answer was often no.
But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities.
Happy Black History Month.
Now you see exactly why black people sat at home this whole fucking time. Because it was supposed to be us. You thought it was going to be us. And we said no. It was supposed to be us with the knees on our backs. It was supposed to be us with the bullets in our chest. It was supposed to be us getting dragged away, which is why the Trump administration was so antagonistic of black people to begin with. When they figured out that we weren't going to show up, that we weren't going to take the bait, they still had to figure out a way to put the fear of God in people. And you didn't think that it would be you. You thought that they would find someone else. You thought that you would be able to sit back and just say, oh my God, that's so terrible. Why would they treat people like that? And be able to live above it, but it's you. Tyranny always comes for you at some point. And it's here. Another person, another white man, another apparently straight white man with a good career serving his community is dead at the hands of ICE. Bullets in his chest for standing up to the American government. It wasn't supposed to be you, was it? It wasn't supposed to be you. You didn't think the leopards would eat your face, but this was the plan all along. The only wrinkle to the plan is that they thought that they would use black bodies like they always did. Through slavery, through Jim Crow, through the black codes, through the civil rights movement, they thought that they would be able to establish their power, that they're this new world order, that the secret police are legitimate, by showing you what they were willing to do and capable of doing to black bodies. But black bodies didn't show up. And now they're using you. Now they're saying it's illegal to go into your house without a judicial warrant. That's what they're doing. And I'm going to tell you something, we ain't showing up. We still not doing it. What's happening here is not right. But no longer will black people put themselves on the front lines for people who are willful in making sure that we're cannon fodder when the rubber meets the road. Rest in peace to that man, Jeffrey, man. You didn't deserve that. You were just trying to defend somebody. And I'm sorry that it's you. I'm so sorry that it's you. But they didn't think that it would be y'all. And here we are.
These were 4 angry white men who believed that they, white men in America, were the victims of reverse discrimination in the workplace. And they all told stories about how they were qualified for jobs, qualified for promotions. They didn't get them. They were really angry. And the reason I'm telling you this is I want you to hear the title of this particular show. It was a quote from one of the men. And the quote was, "A black woman stole my job." And then it was my turn to speak. And I said, I have just one question for you guys. And it's about the title of the show. A black woman stole my job. Actually, it's about one word in the title. I want to know about the word my. Where did you get the idea it was your job? Why isn't the title of the show A Black Woman Got the Job or A Black Woman Got a Job? Because without confronting men's sense of entitlement, I don't think we'll ever understand why so many men resist gender equality. We think this is a level playing field. So any policy that tilts it even a little bit, we think, oh my God, water's rushing uphill. It's reverse discrimination against us. So let me be very clear. White men in Europe and the United States are the beneficiaries of the single greatest affirmative action program in the history of the world. It is called the History of the World.
Watch this video and let's talk about it.
19th is, excuse me, what's happening to the white people? They have a Black Miss America. They have a Black college. They have a Black month. What do we have? And now they have Juneteenth. Yes, I understand there was slavery, don't get me wrong. But there was also a Holocaust, and that was more recent than slavery. But you don't hear the Jews saying, gimme, 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 gimme. What's the point of Juneteenth? What is it? I don't know.
I'm Dr. Michael H. Ford, and let's talk about what you just saw. So this woman asked the question, what's happening to the white people? She then said they have a Black Miss America, they have a Black college, they have a Black month, and now they have Juneteenth. And then poses the question, what do white people have? Saying that you don't hear the Jews saying, give me, give me, give me, give me. Okay, let's take this point by point. Point number 1. Remember, for decades, black women were excluded from the pageant entirely. Vanessa Williams became the first Black Miss America in 1983. Nearly 60 years after the competition began in 1921, representation did not replace anyone, it corrected exclusion. Point number 2. HBCUs were founded because black students were barred from white institutions. The Morrill Act of 1890 required segregated states to provide land-grant colleges for black students if they refused to integrate. Historically, black colleges and universities were not handouts. They were parallel systems built because access was denied. Point number 3. Black History Month began as Negro Week in 1926, created by historian Carter G. Woodson to confront the systematic erasure of black contributions from textbooks and public memory. It expanded to a full month in 1976 during the nation's bicentennial. It exists because omission was policy. Point number 4. Juneteenth marks June 19th, 1865, when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas were informed of their freedom. More than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, it became a federal holiday in 2021. Juneteenth commemorates delayed freedom and the unfinished work of equality. Point number 5. The Holocaust comparison. Jewish communities absolutely sought justice. In 1952, West Germany signed the Luxembourg Agreement, committing billions in reparations to Holocaust survivors and to Israel. Compensation programs, restitution funds, and formal acknowledgement followed. Black Americans enslaved for nearly 250 years in the United States have never received federal reparations for slavery. The promise of land redistribution in 1865 was reversed. Instead came black codes, convict leasing, redlining, exclusion from GI Bill benefits, and a racial wealth gap that persists today. This is not give me, give me, give me. This is unaddressed harm. This is history without repair. Recognition is not lost. It is not lost to tell the full story. It is not lost to honor delayed freedom. It is not lost to repair documented harm. It is not lost to expand the table. It is not lost when justice reaches everyone. Commemoration is not competition. Justice is not a zero-sum game. Healing starts with knowing. Follow for more.
They don't want any American children to know these stories, to know these truths. They don't want them to know. Tuskegee syphilis, that's as far as we go.
Yeah.
And that was child's play. compared to what was done. J. Marion Sims, the same man who experimented on all of these women, also accused enslaved Africans, accused them for the fact that the children have what we now know as neonatal tetanus. He called it Trismus nascentium. Just made up something, but it's neonatal tetanus. Tetanus derives from manure. The likely cause of it because of the proximity enslaved Africans were to animal stables. But people like him caused because of where they had to sleep. But he said it was because of their indecency of their parents. So he decided he was going to try to correct it with a shoemaker's awl. And it is a pointed object that they poke holes in leather with. Every child that was born attempted to reshape their heads and had a 100% fatality rate, killed every single child. Imagine what it must have been like. And they had a statue of him until 2018 when Harriet Washington, myself, and others said, you're going to move that from Central Park.
Central Park
had J. Marion Sims. It's now at his grave. But it stood there until 2018. He was a monster.
2 years after the Little Rock 9 integrated Southern high schools, another prominent event happened in Arkansas, a massacre that many people don't even know about. 69 boys who attended a dormitory school in Wrightsville, Arkansas, who all lived and resided in this one room that you see in this picture, were burned. While living there, they had to wash up with a bucket. They all shared the same bucket of water. They all lived in the same hall. And on this night, the door was padlocked and it was set on fire. 21 died, 48 survived, and no one was ever held accountable. The families received, in some cases, a couple hundred, in another case, 1,400, nothing more than 2,500. And this incident did not receive a historical marker until 2018. Frank Lawrence, whose brother was there that night, and Griffin Stockley are fighting to keep this story alive. But let me know, did you know about this arson?
Hello guys, welcome back. I normally say that racism is expensive and we have the repercussion of the racism. The white America, the white folks, they have been living, really calling out racist towards the black community, racist towards the other minorities in America. And also the black American, they have been very quiet on these issues and they have been warning these white people that one day this white supremacy will fall. And the time will fall, it will be too late for you. But this white supremacy, they didn't listen. Now things has really turned against them because now they are now coming out and saying how the system they have really created for so many years really turning against them. The system of the inequality, the system of the racial discrimination, the system of the oppression. Because the black American, they have been oppressor to the United States of America. This was really coming out and oppressed the white people, the black people, telling us how they are more expensive, more than we as the black people. And now things has changed against them. They didn't really expect this to happen this earlier because these people, they normally really born very poor, and black American also very poor. But the system that were created there, the system that were just put there, it will make sure that these people, they really get rich. These people will not struggle as well as the black people, they normally struggle. And that's why now the system that's really making the black American to suffer a lot, to come up out and complaining so much, it's now on their neck. They are now feeling the karima of the black America, the karima of the other minorities, how things are not moving very well. As you have seen on the starting of the video, how that lady, he cannot really answer just the simple question. She's really moving around. She's not really answering the same question that is being asked by the audience. And also the second clip was the Louis Farrakhan shutting down those white people, because these people, they have the history, this history of the racial discrimination, the history of killing the black people, because during the slavery time, a lot of the black American went through a lot. And that's why we normally say that we are the real Israelites. And that's why I normally say that black American, they have been going through a lot, and it's the high time we just leave them to be alone, because I normally say that these people, they live for this America for so many years, and it's now the high time we respect them. We call them, we pay the respect to the black American, because, and this conversation always, not only for the black American and also for the other minorities in America, because we normally find that these other minorities in America, like the other Dutch community, Latinos, Hispanic, they normally try to really compete with the black Americans. But one thing, these people, they must really come out and really tell us about these white people. They don't have even their friends, because also I saw how this Latino, I come across them a video in my YP, say that the Latinos, they really think that they are a lot white, but things really turn against them, because deportation always happen in America, and the people always affected was the black, there was the other minority. So this minority, they now come out and realize that the black American must be given the respect they deserve, because this respect always wins. But these people, they don't respect us, and they want us to help them. And now we have seen also these white people really crying out how the cost of living is really hurting them. It's so unfortunate to find these white supremacy, so-called white supremacy, coming out and start crying how the cost of living is really hurting them, how they cannot manage to go and maybe buying some grocery, how the economy of America is really killing them. This system is always turning, and they really don't listen, because I've seen a lot of really clips, really white people really coming out and tell us how the black people, how they are not complaining, how the black people, how they are really coming out and do their protest. And one thing, these people, that have really realized that those protests was really meant for help them. Those protests is not only meant for the benefit of the black people. They saw that those protests was the black people, but those protests really helping those white people. Majority of them were benefiting from that protest. But that time, the black American, they decided not to do any protest. This is now the crying. These people are really coming out and started complaining about how we don't want to listen for them. So guys, I want to hear from you guys about this white supremacy, the falling of the white supremacy, the system of the inequality, the system of the of injustice, the system of oppression, how this is really falling apart. I'm your host, Leslie J. And kindly, if you haven't subscribed, please let's support this first video, so that you can really support this first video in this channel by subscribing, like, comment, and also don't forget to share to your friends about this, the falling of the white supremacy. Thank you so much for always, and let's meet in the next episode. Bye for now. See you in the next one.